6 to 9. You're about to have a really good time, and it's sure to make you smile. On the bus, in the car, on the AirPods without wires. Rank it up on the worksite, it's the Bad and Liam podcast. Bad and Liam podcast.
G'day there, podcaster.
Oh, hopefully you've been playing along with the podcast name game. We returned it yesterday in a bonus episode. It's a really fun one. Basically, producer Andy, he says the name of the podcast and we have to guess why we called it that. I feel like this one's going to be hard to remember in a year or two. Feel the Two Holes.
Feel the Two Holes
is the name of today's episode. Obviously, it sounds sus. That's probably why we called it that.
If you didn't know, we always name the podcast after something that was said in the show.
And we didn't say it today. A caller actually said it.
Yeah.
So you'll hear that later on. Also, very exciting. The first thing you're going to hear is a story about how Ben was followed by a celebrity.
I woke up this morning and I rolled over, Liam, and looked at my phone as I always do. The first thing I did was opened up Instagram and I had a little red notification. I clicked on that and I started getting followed by someone. I saw the name and I laughed because I thought, someone's made a fake account and then they followed me. That's amusing.
Yeah.
Clicked on it. Turns out it was legit. It's got 20,000 followers. And you can tell they've been posting for a while now. You can just tell when it's a fake account.
Yeah, because it's got like 2 posts on it.
I'm being followed now by Cocaine Cassie.
Cass? The late night follow.
Adelaide's very own Cocaine Cassie. When you click on her profile, she's got 19.5 thousand followers.
Right.
She's under public figure. And her bio...
I suppose they don't have mule as one of the options.
The bio reads, I'm that Cassie.
Whoa.
And then the thing I found funny is she might be listening. I don't know. She obviously knows that I'm on Nova. She could be tuned in now. If you click on her story, she is selling a fitness plan. So it's like link in my bio. So excited for how many pre-orders I've sold. She's doing like a Kayla Itzinez style fitness package plan.
Her workout powder's just a lot more expensive. That's wild. I mean, we were paying her out not too long ago. I suppose the question is, do you slide into the DMs?
That could be funny. Well,
do we message her?
So if you just tuned in, you didn't know, we were going to get her on the show a few weeks ago because she did that 60-minute interview.
Yeah, that's right.
She was back on back in our shores, and I think we were under the impression she wanted $500 for a 5-minute interview. Turns out it was $5,000, and we laughed and said there's no way we'd pay that.
She might give you mates rates now that your friend's on.
Well, I was thinking free. If I just slid into the DMs and said, hey,
what's up?
Thanks for the follow. I want to come on the show.
Yeah. We'll even get her to see if she can send a voice message back. Like, shout out. Shout out to the Nova listeners.
What about if I did this? I said, we will promote your fitness plan on our show if you come on for a free chat.
I don't think we can be seen to be promoting Cocaine Cassie's fitness plan. You know what I mean? I don't want to be furthering her business, is what I'm saying.
I think if we did an interview at this time of the morning and we let the first minute be about her fitness plan.
Oh, listen. just because you're friends with her on Instagram, all of a sudden, I don't even think she did it. No, we should give her a run. Give her a fair go.
Have you got any notable figures when you think about Instagram follows, Liam?
Yeah, there's one that's just sort of out of this world to me that I'm like, same deal. I got the follow and I was like, this is a fake account. Clicked on it. It was the blue tick. Had all the followers. Couldn't believe it. Daniel Johns. Silverchair fame.
Yeah.
And he messages me every now and then. He messaged me when I got engaged. He was like, so happy for you, dude. Congratulations. And I was like,
so weird.
I played a game of pool with him once. Like there's a guy, Emo, like he's a DJ called What's So Not, and I knew him, and he was like, we were at this bar, and he's like, hey, have you met my friend Dan before? And I was like, nah. And I turned around, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, oh God. And I was just trying to keep it cool. We played a game of pool, and he was like a nice dude. I suck at pool. But yeah, no, and every now and then he like replies to my stories, but just with like something random, like a skull and crossbones, like, oh my God, Dad. Like,
imagine the motley crew if it was you, me, Daniel Johns, and Cocaine Cassie hanging out.
We'd have a bloody good night, I tell you that much for free. We would have an absolute humdinger.
good as exploring our amazing backyard again.
And ticking off all the Aussie big things, like the big pineapple, banana, melons.
That's making me hungry, Liam.
Oh, me too. Head to whatif.com and start planning your big Aussie adventure.
What if it's Aussie for travel?
It's 6:10. Hallelujah, it's 6:10.
Laura, good morning. How you doing?
Hi, how you going?
So damn good. Is it true this is the first time you've ever called through?
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
Nova Virgin. Calling for the very first time.
What's the deal? Do you normally listen to other radio stations, or you've just been won over by this potential cheese prize we've been teasing?
Something like that.
Okay, well, all right. Well, if you get the next 5 questions right, not only are you going to get to pick the next song we play, but there also might be a cheesy treat at the end of it for you. So let's see if you could sniff it out like a mouse.
All right, let's go.
Michael Jackson's chimp Bubbles, which I can't believe he's still alive, Bubbles. Must have been very hard for him seeing all these news articles coming out. Has been taken to safety from the storm in the US. Can you name another primate other than a chimp?
Orangutan?
Yeah. Gorilla, mandrill, list could have gone on. Monday is a public holiday next week. What is it a public holiday for?
It's the October long weekend.
Yeah, I know, but I know that's kind of how we all just refer to it. But it's an actual day for something. You know how we have the Queen's birthday in June. What is it in October?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't get the cheese, Laura.
Oh, we like you too. You know what? Hang around as a safety. I always like to do that.
Yeah.
For someone who's calling through for the very first time. Will, do you know why we're having a day off on Monday?
I do. Labor Day.
That's the one. Lizzo has played a former President James Madison's flute from 1813. What other famous Madison had to repeat every year of school again to prove to his dad he wasn't a fool?
I got no idea.
Back to school, to prove to my daddy that I'm not a fool.
You don't know what movie that's from?
No, sorry, boys.
Today, Junior! Jared, you know the movie? Surely.
Billy Madison.
Yeah, Billy Madison. That's the one. Nokia have released a bunch of throwback phones that look like they're old classics. What reptile was the name of the game that everyone played on those old Nokia phones?
Mate?
That's it. A guy in Scotland has gone viral for how much he sounds like Shaggy. Can you finish these lyrics with your best Shaggy voice?
But she caught me on the counter.
Wasn't me.
Saw me banging on the sofa.
Wasn't me.
I even had her in the shower.
Wasn't me.
She even caught me on camera.
Wasn't me.
Saw the marks on my shoulder.
Wasn't me.
Heard the words that I told her.
Just lost so
Wasn't
much
me.
The
enthusiasm.
screams getting louder.
Wasn't me.
She stayed until it was over.
Wasn't me.
Unreal.
That was better than we'd planned.
Oh, that's so good, Jared.
There's 8 wasn't me's.
Oh, it's too much.
Oh, well, Jared, you're heading along to Cheese Fest, mate. Adelaide's favourite celebration of cheese and all things delicious, October 14 to 16. Tickets from cheesefest.com.au. You also get to pick the next song we play. Would you like to hear my song this morning? Or would you like to hear Ben's song?
What are you feeling, Jared?
Two bangers, so you got to go My Sharona. Big Angela one.
Yeah, all right.
Unreal. Well, thank you, Jared, a.k.a. Shaggy. It's been a pleasure. After 5 years of being together, Ben, I learned about my fiance's hidden talent last night. It's pretty cool. She can sneeze on command.
There's a difference, though, between, like, sneezing and sneezing, though.
She's, like, actually sneezing. Like, it's like there's snot coming out. Like, it's like a proper sneeze.
Yeah, I guess. I could probably, fake cough, not that impressive.
But like sneeze is hard. Like if I was like sneeze right now, see if you can do it.
It's not
That was like but like
yeah.
and hers is like legit. Like it's like something triggers in her brain. It's like sneeze. Like she can activate that whatever that is.
Wow.
And look, if you don't believe me, I actually recorded her doing it last night. Have a sus. Give us a sneeze, says. Give us another one. Can I get a 2-time? Oh, you actually got someone there.
Yeah, it's because there's a difference between like you sneezing out your mouth, and that's a sneeze coming from the sinus.
But this is like a, like it's like a. You heard me at the end. I was in the blast zone. It was a real sneeze. I can assure you of that. It flew out at me.
Yeah.
I was like that woman in that flu ad. You know, when she just like sneezes and you see all the little particles all flying.
Didn't
around
that ad get removed from TV? People said it was too gross.
I think it was too crook. It did the job though, didn't it? It was like, oh yeah, you better cover your mouth. Yeah, I suppose
that's
so.
a pretty good party trick.
It's cool. It's cool. I don't know why she took so long to reveal it, but why don't we do this morning? What can you do on command? 13 24 10 is the number. We do have vouchers to give away to our best caller. I mean, obviously, if it's an audio-based one, we'll probably want some proof.
Yep.
But
Mine,
whether it sounds good on the phone line or not, we'll find out.
Mine very visual, and Liam, you've seen this many a time before, but I can independently move my chin from the rest of my body.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It is. It's actually really cool. If you,
yeah.
maybe we'll have to put that on the old Instagram story. But yeah, like Ben.
I think producer Andy just
have
saw
you,
it for
have
the
you seen
first
that
time.
one ever, Andy?
Yeah, he's never seen
I mean,
it.
you have to speak up because the mics are over here. But that was pretty cool, right?
I'm really impressed. I've never seen that before. Sorry it took me so long. I was just picking my jaw from the floor.
Yeah, no,
Really
it's
cool,
honestly,
man.
I actually think it was the second ever post we did on the Ben and Liam Instagram. If you want to scroll back, like,
yeah.
you know.
Like independently, I can use it as a limb. Like I can hold a bit of paper with it.
So Ben's now using his chin and moving his chin up and
Yeah.
holding paper between
Abby in
his
the
chin and his
newsroom,
lips.
you're seeing that for the first time. What are your thoughts?
Wow. Ben? Wow.
Yeah. I'll put something up on the story in a sec so you can check it out. But 13 24 10, what can you do on command? Saoirse joins us now. You're only 12 years old. What can you do on demand?
I can do a kookaburra noise.
Oh, that's
yeah.
That's pretty good. So if we closed our eyes right now and you did the sound, it would feel like there's a kookaburra on the other end of the phone line.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, we're going to close our eyes now. We're going to pretend we're in the outback, and you're going to give us your best kookaburra whenever you're ready.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's
that was
pretty good,
better
yeah.
than I was expecting, Saoirse. That's really good. I bet you everyone at school loves that. Hey, kookaburra girl, do the thing. Zach in Morpeth Vale. Is yours an audio-based one?
Hey guys, how you going?
Good, mate.
All good. Hey, my party trick is I can make my tongue go down the back of my throat like I swallowed it.
Oh, that's people die from that.
Whoa. So you're almost eating your own tongue.
Yeah, almost. It's just going down the back of my throat so I can fill the two holes.
Ah.
Zach, I mean, I'm assuming it doesn't sound like anything, but could you do it now just for the sake of it?
I'm going right now.
I also like that we could hear your radio in the background.
Yeah.
Nice little touch.
That's always good. Nice to know that you're listening. I mean, the one rule is turn your radio down in the background and don't swear.
Don't swallow your tongue.
Yeah. Lily, you're also only 13. What can you do on demand?
I can cry on command.
Well, that would be helpful when you don't get your way with mum and dad. Do you
Are we
think,
talking real tears?
Yeah, I did it in a music test once.
what, so you could get out of it?
Yeah.
That's good, though. I mean, we could be speaking to the next Nicole Kidman, the big actor from Australia. I mean, that's actually a really hard thing to do. Not many people can do that.
Yeah, do you think that do you sell a lot of it with your face, or do you think you better audibly cry for us?
Most basic. Tears come down.
Yeah, just to get the tear ducts working.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks anyway, Lily.
Pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Nate, what can you do on demand, mate?
I can burp on command.
Whoa.
Yeah, but I can do that.
Oh, do one, Ben. That wasn't a big one.
Oh, well, you reckon you can burp louder than that, Nate?
Nate, we'll give you a drum roll, and when the drum roll finishes, we want you to give all of us the biggest belch you can possibly conjure up, okay?
All right.
All right, here we go. That little one, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
good, and then boom.
We had the entree, and then we got the main course.
Is there room for dessert, Nate? Can we have one more little one? That's pretty good, man.
Thanks for that, Nate.
Good. What about Lamb doing this morning? Are there just kids burping on the phone line to him? I reckon that young lad is probably a shoe-in for the Friday meat tray tomorrow. The boy who can burp on demand.
Yeah, the Friday meat tray, of course, we do it every single Friday. We award it to the best caller of the week. If you did miss him, he had the incredible ability to burp on command. We'll pop it up in the Ben and Liam podcast.
P to the O to the D to the cast.
What do you reckon? Should we get the keys out from around our necks and open up the forbidden folder? Yeah, this is where we keep all the taboo topics, the stuff our bosses said no to in the past. I like this one. Would you live in a house someone's been murdered in?
Oh.
That's an interesting one, isn't it?
It's a good question, isn't it?
I suppose there are a lot of houses where people have been murdered in them.
Well, it's strange because I think there's a fine line between someone's passed away in a house, which is very common, and someone being murdered in a house.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
especially if
very
you know, like, oh, it's in that bedroom.
Because when I first bought my house in Virginia, I got lucky because I saw the sign going up and I called the real estate agent straight away. I put in an offer and he called me back. It was under what they wanted, and he said, yeah, she'll take it because her husband and her lived in the house together.
Yeah.
The lady was selling it, and he passed away in that house, so she wanted to just get rid of it.
Oh, wonderful.
She didn't want the negative memories.
So you were able to shortchange an old woman.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Geez, I got to get me one of them. I'm going to start hunting in like Burnside. Just looking. I'm going to read the death notices and then go. Just call widows the day after and go. Hey, I'll give you 400. What do you reckon?
The idea of someone being murdered in a house, kind of different, isn't it? Could you sleep in a house knowing that someone had been murdered in that room?
I must admit, I'm not one of those people, you know, and I've been to some horrible places in the past, like, you know, on historic tours and whatnot. And you know how people are like, oh, it's eerie, you can get the chills. Like, I sort of have that separation. I feel like I'm like, it's horrible what's happened here. I'm talking over in Germany and that sort of stuff. It's so horrible, but I'm not one of those people who gets the chills and the shivers, and, you know, some people are really sensitive to that sort of stuff.
You'd be able to sleep easy in a bed knowing that someone had been murdered in your room? You can say yes.
I don't know, maybe. Like, as long as I didn't know all the details, I wouldn't actively seek out a place.
What if you did know the details?
Yeah, I mean, if I got it a bit cheaper, I probably could. I probably could. Yeah, I think I could, Ben.
Knowing your loan's not as big. Producer Belle, what do you reckon? Could you live in a house knowing someone had been murdered in it?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. And I think kind of similar to Liam, like, if I get it cheap, absolutely.
It sort of outweighs it, doesn't it?
What if it was a gory murder?
Yeah, but I've never believed in ghosts and hauntings and that.
It's less the ghosts, more what if they come back?
Okay, that's exactly the same thing.
No. He means the murderer.
Oh.
Yeah. What if the murderer comes back?
No.
Did some of my best work in this house, I might come back around too.
Well, that is what it is.
Yeah.
No, but like, I don't believe that it holds anything there. It's like, yeah, it happened here, right?
There's some people are like, oh, something terrible happened here. What about you, Ben?
I think for the right price. For the right price. Depending on what it was, though. Like, if it was just a murder.
Like a quick one.
Yeah. Because you think about the mess that's left.
I couldn't live,
you know that there's just paint covering the mess up.
I couldn't live in a Dahmer house. You know, there's that series at the moment, the Jeffrey Dahmer. I wouldn't live there.
Yeah.
No.
Abby, in the newsroom, what do you reckon? Could you live in a murder house?
All right. I'd like to say that I'd be tough, and because I'm studying criminology, I'd be all over it, but I'd probably last an hour at night on my own, and then I'd run for the hills.
So that's interesting, because you are so fascinated with true crime that you're now studying criminology. But I suppose maybe you've heard too many of the gory details over the years to be like, nah, I just can't do it.
Yeah, like I'm currently listening to a case file, and it's about the blackout killers back in the UK in the First World War, and I'm petrified I'm sleeping with the light on again.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
All right, well, look, let's open this up, Adelaide. 13 24 10 is our number.
Would you live in a house someone's been murdered in? Even better, if you do live in a murder house, you can remain anonymous, but, I mean, I'd love to pick your brain. Yeah, 13 24 10 is the number.
Would you live in a house someone's been murdered in?
Even better, do you live in one?
Yeah.
Travis has got in touch. Am I right in saying you've actually lived in one in the past?
Yeah, but we didn't know at the time. We only found out about last year.
Oh my God. So, did you think there was something fishy going on? Did you get the house reasonably cheap, or was it just like a rental?
It was a rental. It was really cheap. This is back in the late 90s in Perth, Western Australia.
Yeah.
And it was a share house, like a 4-bedroom joint with about 6 unemployed youth and students and that kind of dogs in space, young ones kind of mixed there, died with a falafel in his hand kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It was crazy cheap. It was a beautiful big old house in West Perth. And then last year, someone who used to share the house with me sort of got us all in a group chat on Facebook and was like, Eric Edgar Cook killed somebody in that house. Now, he was a serial killer back in Perth back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The most notorious serial killer ever operate in Western Australia. And changed the culture of Perth completely. Like before, there's sort of before Eric Edgar Cook and after Eric Edgar Cook.
Right.
And like Perth was kind of a sleepy town on the West Coast there, far away from the hustle and bustle of the East Coast.
Yeah.
And no one locked their doors, people would sleep on their verandas, people left their cars unlocked, and that's why he was able to operate for a very long time.
Oh, my God.
And so when you found out that he had committed murder in your share house, did you know whose room it was in?
Yeah, we figured it out, and it took a bit of work because we were looking at floor plans and blueprints, and the place had been renoed and subdivided. But it was my bedroom. It was my bedroom.
Oh, no,
Travis.
And so, how long did you continue to live in the house after you found out the fact?
Oh, we'd all moved out ages ago. We're talking 20 years ago. This was the late 90s.
Gotcha.
I feel like blissfully unaware, though, right? Like, if no one's told you that someone's been butchered in your room, then you'll sleep peacefully.
Travis, thank you very much.
Vicky in Parkside, did you live in a house?
I did.
Oh.
And so was it a rental or did you buy it?
We were renting off friends.
Okay.
We were about to buy somewhere and it fell through, and so we had nowhere to live, and our friends were thinking, moved to New York, and they said, you can live in our house. And so I didn't even know where this place was. We moved, it was in Essex, in England.
Yeah.
Huge house, 12th century. Kind of spooky. It felt kind of spooky. And lights would often be left on, or I thought they'd be left on, and they weren't. Anyway, sometime after we'd been living there, about a year or so, my dad came to visit, and I thought he'd left early. And I saw his shirt walking down the hallway, and he hadn't left early. And the owners, we were chatting to them, and they said, oh, no, actually, it is haunted. We were doing renos, and there were originally 3 pubs in the 12th century, and they were all made into one.
Yeah.
And when they were doing the renovations, they came across a room that was all bricked up, and inside the room was a skeleton.
Oh, my
Goodness.
God. It's a wild story.
It's like in the movies, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. And it did explain a lot of the weird happenings.
Did you get out of there pretty quick after that?
Do you know, my husband got sick there. It was a miserable time. It was dark. I was really quite happy to leave. But we
Get out
had
of there.
18 months there.
Yeah,
my
Vicky,
God,
that's
yeah.
wild.
Skeleton in the wall. Wow. Katie, in Bridgewater, you lived in a murder house.
Yes, I believe that we did. We rented a property in Hyde Park, and when I first moved in, I was moving in on my own, and the door to a room kept on shutting all day on its own. And once the whole family we'd settled in, there was a particular bedroom that my 2 young daughters were sleeping in at the time, and they really struggled to settle and be comfortable in that particular room. And one night, my eldest daughter was really quite distressed, and so I slept with her in the bedroom. And, would have been, 1 or 2 a.m. I felt this enormous pressure just pushing down on top of me, and white noise, like, when the television goes off, in the old days, and you get all of that white noise really loud in my ear, and I couldn't move, and eventually I just screamed and said, "Get off me and leave me alone."
Yeah.
And it went. it all just lifted and it went.
Yeah.
And about a month or so later, a friend of ours who had, I think was in the medical field at the time, came and visited us and said, "Oh, this is the property where a woman was murdered in the bathroom."
Oh, bit of bad juju, bit of paranormal activity there.
And then did you get out pretty quick after that, or did you stay?
We certainly did. We were, I think we only stayed for another month or so before we moved out.
Yeah. I thought you said you certainly stayed. You're like, yeah, you get the tight chest and the white noise, but King Will, some great restaurants. Got Parisi's there close by.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go one more this morning. Jackie joins us in Vale Park. Good morning. Now, you bought a house that a murder had happened in. Tell us the story.
Absolutely. So we ended up buying a house where, I don't know, what you probably heard of, Rory Jack Thompson, the CSIRO scientist, actually murdered his wife and chopped her up into little pieces and flushed a lot of her down the toilet.
Oh, God. And so you bought that house that happened in. Had you known or you didn't know?
Well, being in Hobart at the time, it was impossible to buy the house without finding out.
Yep.
Because as soon as you said the street name, everyone goes, "Oh, that's not the house where Roy Jack Thompson killed his wife." We don't. And in the beginning, we went, "No, it wouldn't be." And then it actually turned out to be that house. And then, and then we thought, "Oh, we can't buy it anymore." And then we thought, hang on, we really like the house, and I'm sure everyone's died. Someone's died in every house.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone's been flushed down a toilet in every
Imagine
house.
sitting on the toilet in the morning. Oh, so then you knew, then did you still buy it?
Well, we decided we wanted to buy it, and then we got a call from the bank, and the bank manager wanted to see us, and we thought, oh, no, he's going to refuse our finance.
Yeah.
And what he said was, look, we wouldn't normally do this, but in this case it's a bit different, but this is what's happened in the house, and if you don't want to buy it anymore, I'll just refuse your finance. And we went, oh, thank you. No, that's fine. Thank you very much. No, we still want to buy it.
Did you get it for a good price at least?
We got it for a very good price. Back in the day, it was like $67,000.
Oh, not bad.
Beautiful old 1900s house. But the trouble is, no one could forget about this murder because every year he came up for parole. So he was on the front news, on the news front page of the paper, and they used to show the footage every year of them digging up the backyard.
And Jackie, did you have any weirdos hanging around? Sort of, people who like that sort of thing ever come into your house?
We didn't so much, but we got a lot of people, we just got sick of people driving past really slowly and pointing.
Yeah,
and then,
So did you sell it? Do you still own it?
No, we ended up selling it.
And so someone obviously bought it. Someone bought it knowing what was going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jackie, it's just because, and to be honest, I'm like, you're crazy. You lived in a murder house, but then I literally 20 minutes ago said, yeah, I'd live in a murder house if it was the right price. Tell you what, if it was a big mansion for $67,000, I could probably put it in the back of my mind.
Sounds like not a bad deal, Jackie. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, Ben, how do you feel about those videos on TikTok or whatever where people, they'll give a homeless person money or something, but they'll, film it?
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
It just kind of I hate them. I feel like it's a nice gesture, but filming it sort of makes it a bit gratuitous. It's sort of like a bit...
Well, you're only doing it to be seen to be doing it.
It's a bit schmarmy. Yeah. Especially when they have the music under it, and then they always people love them though. They go, I think there's you either see that stuff and you go, ugh, or you see it and you go, oh my God, I love that. So beautiful.
If it's actually a good deed, you would just do it and you wouldn't film it.
Yeah, that's kind of my standpoint as well. But yesterday I saw the worst one I've seen yet. You might not really be able to hear one of the guys, but basically he gives this homeless man a TV.
I hurt my back, and I'm trying to move this TV out of the back of my pickup. Right. Could you help me for a sec? Yeah. You sure? I don't have any money on me. Right. Just 2 minutes. Thank you so much. I'll get one side. You get one side? Yeah. Thank you, man. How come you help me?
No problem.
But I had no money.
I help for money, no help? Yeah.
Brand new TV. It's for you. I love you.
So much wrong with that. In the end, he says, I love you.
I'm sorry, but what's a homeless man going to do with an 80-inch UHD 4K plasma screen TV?
Ridiculous.
Give him some money.
Isn't it a
Fair,
PowerPoint to
I don't
plug
know.
into?
Like, do something nice for the guy. Take him out for lunch. Speak to the guy. I don't know. Like, but giving him a TV that you probably got given to promote on TikTok. I'm like, do you not? And it wasn't even like a bit.
These
This is
videos,
genuinely doing
they
it.
need to stop.
They need to stop.
They really need to stop.
Yeah, well, look, I'm glad. I was going to text it to you and shred it last night, but I'm glad we got to enjoy this moment together.
This is a voiceover sweep to break up the podcast.
Ben, in front of you, you've got a lot of buttons. You play the songs, you control the microphones. I'm not trusted with anything. I've just got a laptop in front of me. There is one button, though, that you have been misusing. It's the all-staff PA button. When we discovered it, you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, so basically there's a button that will PA the entire building. So we're on level 3 and there's also level 4, which is our sister station 5AA. There's, probably 50, 60 employees here. And when I press that button, every single person in the entire building hears what I have to say.
So we're obviously playing the radio station around the radio station. So it's super obvious when it drops out and you hear an announcement. You sort of assume that it's a fire drill or something.
Did you say I've been misusing it?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, your latest trick is you've been holding the button down and then playing sound effects in the studio like this fart sound. Which is hilarious because if they're all upstairs, the sales
in the
team,
bullpen,
they're quietly typing away, and then all of a sudden, and they're going, "Was that Joe?" I think that might have been Joe. They don't know who did it. Or you just say ridiculous things like when Belle just walks out the studio to say she's going to the toilet, you go, "Emergency bell, please," and then she runs back in. I mean, you buzz me as well when I go to the toilet. But I was thinking this morning, maybe we could have some fun with the button. So what if we did a PA announcement right now? We're live on air. There's a lot of people working upstairs above us. If we say it's an emergency, how quick would they rush down the stairs and come into the studio?
Why don't we refine it just a little bit? Why don't we single out someone who we know's quick? Someone who does cross-country running?
I'm thinking Dan Muscat.
Yep.
He's a guy who works in sales, lovely dude. He does like ultra marathons for fun on the weekend. So he runs like over 100 Ks and he's super lean, super fit. I reckon...
What time do you think he has to get here from upstairs for it to be a win?
I reckon he could do a sub 30. Which is, when you think, it's a lot of time. However, to be working, potentially headphones on, hearing an announcement, or colleagues saying, "Oh, you're wanted, emergency," to then get up, get down 2 flights of stairs, and then run through the Nova building as well.
I think you've got to give him a minute, because what if he takes the elevator?
Yeah, but like he's a fit guy. He's always taking the stairs. If you're doing ultra marathons, you're not taking the lift ever.
He's not going to get here in 30 seconds.
Why don't we do an emergency buzz and then I will start the timer and we'll see how quick he can get into the studio.
All right, I'll do the announcement now to the entire building for Dan Muscat. Dan Muscat, we have an emergency in the studio. Dan Muscat to the studio.
The time starts now. Okay, currently Dan probably has just heard his emergency announcement upstairs. He's probably not going to be too impressed when he realises there's no fire or no real emergency.
He has to go from the bullpen down 2 flights of stairs.
Then there's hustle and bustle. Like, there's people probably walking around there, handing around paper, lining up at the printer.
He then has to go through the narrow corridors to get here. I'm curious to see if he's going to run or if he's going to walk.
Oh, there he's coming.
That wasn't bad.
He's done it in sub 30.
Oh, that was pretty impressive.
What's the official time? 26 seconds?
Yeah.
26 seconds. Dan, I'm so sorry. You're on Nova at the moment. There was no emergency. We've been having a bit of fun with the PA system and we wanted to see. We thought you would be the quickest person to get down here.
Did you take elevator or stairs?
Stairs, straight down.
Yeah, wow. Brisk walk or a jog?
Brisk walk.
Yeah.
I am thoroughly impressed that you got here in the time you did. I feel safe knowing that we work with a man who can get here in 26
to be honest,
seconds.
If there is actually a fire or some sort of real life situation where we need an extra bit of muscle, we're buzzing in Muscat.
I'm the man.
Well, the Catters, Geelong, had a big weekend. They obviously destroyed the Swans in the AFL Grand Final, and I always wonder, what would it be like just straight after that game? I mean, you'd be on cloud 9, right? You feel like the
the whole world's attention's on you. Well, realistically, Australia, parts of Australia. But we know now what the night was like for Captain Joel Selwood, who announced his retirement yesterday. Did you see any of the interviews from that? No. So he he spoke about what happened after, and he said he actually drove home. So he only had 2 beers because his wife's pregnant at the moment, and he had a big Mad Monday coming up, and obviously it was all a bit wild. So he just thought, yeah, look, I'll celebrate a bit. I'll just do the right thing, get out of there. And so I think they had a hire car, right? And he dropped one of the other players off home. Now, the other player had the key in his pocket. It's one of those cars that you get in and you press the push start. You don't even have to put the key in the ignition. And so he's dropped him off a while back, and then he's driven for a while, and they thought they'd pop into the servo to get a few snacks. And then when he's come back, he can't start the car because the key is nowhere near. He's in whoop whoop. How's he going to get home? Well, this is where we pick up the story.
There's a young P-plater girl that had been at the pub. Her name was Emily. And I asked Emily if she could drop me home. And I jumped in the car and I asked her how her day was, and she wasn't in the best of moods, to be honest. It was a busy day at the pub, Barwon Heads pub. And she didn't really pick up who I was at the time. She asked me how my day was, and I said it was actually pretty good. And then she said, what did I get up to? I said, I actually played in the game today. And she still hadn't picked up who I was, which was a nice thing. And then she asked for my name, and then she started swearing at herself. We picked up the key, we drove back to the car, and I told Emily that I actually have the cup in the car, and would she like a photo? And she got her photo, and she drove back home to Geelong.
No way.
How wild's that? Also, imagine if you were just going to that servo that night in Barwon Heads and you walked past like a Kia Rio and you didn't know the actual AFL Cup was just sitting in the boot.
And how's her not knowing who he was and then still offering to give this strange man a lift?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Joel. He's pretty hunky, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Probably wouldn't say, if you were a young girl, you wouldn't say, no.
Liam Pod Men Cast. Wait, I said that wrong. Ben and Liam Podcast.
What's trending?
Trending all over the internet.
Twitter. Instagram.
Welcome to Facebook.
Hey guys, well, in case you missed it yesterday, the teaser for Deadpool 3 dropped along with a bombshell.
Oh, yeah, super excited for this. And I love the way that Ryan Reynolds, aka Deadpool, did it. So there was like this big drawn out video. And then at the very, very end, this happens.
Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Oh, I mean, so cool. I'm not a big superhero movie head, but Deadpool 1 and 2, amazing. And anything with Hugh Jackman in it as Wolverine, take my money. Especially that Logan movie.
Yeah.
Remember that one? It was like R and he was just
That's
using
why,
the claws.
if you're not super into it, that's why this is so exciting, because Deadpool is R18+. Logan, which was the last Wolverine movie, is R18+. And so they're both so gory, and they're the way superhero movies should be. So for them to combine and then do one together, which no one thought would happen because he hung up the claws, but then he's back for this, it's
you can
super
just
exciting.
see the scene already. Jackman slicing Deadpool up like sashimi, and then he just grows back, and then they keep fighting.
There's
and
going
then
to be something
they'll be, oh man,
because Ryan Reynolds is such a smart ass in it. Like he's the silly one, and then Wolverine, he's the mean one.
He's the angry
it's
one.
It's going to be so good, Belle.
It's like us.
It's like us.
I'm like Deadpool, and you're like Wolverine. And Belle's
Yeah, what am I?
Wonder Woman.
Oh, shut up. All right.
People love Wonder Woman.
I zoned out there for a bit, but I'm back.
What do you want to talk about then, Belle?
Okay, I would like to talk about, please, a huge news story in the pop culture world from yesterday. Hailey Bieber, wife of Justin Bieber. No, wife of Justin Bieber.
You lost me at Hailey.
Okay.
Okay, what's going on with Hailey Bieber?
All right, so Hailey
We're all
Bieber.
dying to know.
Wife of Justin Bieber. So she's finally addressed the rumours that she stole Justin from Selena Gomez. Let me give you a quick timeline. So back in 2011, Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber started dating. They've been on again, off again for like a decade. Well, a bit less, because then he suddenly, out of nowhere, broke up with her and proposed to Hailey. So she has now jumped on a podcast and said this.
It was the right thing for them to close that door. It closed a chapter, and I think it was the best thing that could have happened for him to move on.
the biggest, like the reason that this is so big and that this has finally happened now, she faced, when Hayley got with Justin, she faced so much hate, so many trolls online, because they were saying, well, he cheated on Selena with you, you broke them up, it's all your fault and we hate you. It was very sad.
Hey, Ben, you remember that scene at the start of Logan when those guys are trying to steal his tyres and he puts the claws through his chin and it comes to the top of his head? Oh, I love that bit.
So good.
Well, I've got one here that may please us all, actually.
Yeah?
Macca's are releasing adult Happy Meals. But that's not even the best bit. They are going to be including nostalgic toys from the 90s Happy Meals.
Oh, yeah. I hope they bring back those. Remember the little Sega players? And it had like the little soccer one, like the red one, and they were pretty good. I was a big fan of the Bionicles. When they did
they do Bionicles
they did
in the Macca's
yeah,
Happy
they had
Meals?
little Bionicles. I reckon like 2003.
Well, their format was basically whatever the big toy was at the moment. They had like miniature.
They make a
versions
crapper
of it.
version and mass produce it, and kids couldn't look past it.
Ben and Liam is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.